quickly see what movies I should watch. But there's nothing similar in the restaurant space. That everyone likes to eat, and people like to eat out very often. So from that, we're like, okay, we're going to create a product like this. Especially because the two of us really don't like review sites. In Hong Kong, there's OpenRice, there's Yelp, there's TripAdvisor, because there's so many restaurant traps promoted on these platforms because of people writing really bogus comments, and then half of it is just very polarizing. People only tend to write when they have something really good or terrible to say. So we're like, okay, but there's all this good information out there. There's a lot of magazines and blogs, but if you try Googling what to eat in New York, you'll literally have like millions of different hits. You'll have all these magazines and blogs. So like, well, we both come from a finance background. We're used to analyzing a large data set. So we're like, why don't we just do this, but for restaurants? So what we did was we worked with a team to build a tech platform that reads through all the different magazines and blogs for a particular city and see which restaurant has scored consistently highest across these professional magazines and blogs. So I share with you this story because it doesn't matter if you don't have an idea right now, but the point is, if you're really passionate, then you should take some time out, find some friends, and just brainstorm some ideas, and I'm sure a problem that you're passionate about will come about. So assuming that you go through this whole exercise, you have your idea, then the next question as I posed was, do you have the expertise or experience to carry it out? And when I say you, I don't mean you as a singular person. I mean, can you build a team or find some people to rally behind this idea and bring it into a product? One of the things that a lot of people here face, because a lot of you are in finance, is you don't have coding expertise. And this is not optimal. Like, if I were you, my piece of advice is to try to find a technical co-founder as soon as possible. But having said that, tech talent is at a shortage these days, but of course you have people like Hack Pacific which can help you. At the same time, it's not fatal, because for us, what we did was we used a lot of these great platforms that's out there. For us, we use Upwork.com. It connects you with all these developers from across the world. They're not going to be your Stanford, your MIT, your Caltech guys, but they're going to get the work done, and then they can do it at a minimal cost. So you just build your prototype out there, get it out there. If it has sort of good traction, you can always bring it in front of an investor and get somebody and build a proper tech team. So assuming you have this idea that you want to tackle, you have this experience and this team to handle it, the final question you need to ask yourself when you're thinking about when you make the switch is, will you be able to find the funding to make this work? A lot, like most of the time, depending of course on what you want to do for your startup, there's angels, there's VCs, there's friends and family that can do the trick. And I can assure you that most people running successful startups were not born with a bag of cash in their hand. Although, having said that, having a small pot of saving does really, really help during this initial phase if you don't want to trade too much of your lifestyle away. But since a lot of you work in finance, assuming you don't spend it all on your bags and shoes and you have something left over, I think you should be in a pretty good spot to at least last your way through a year or two. And of course, being in finance, you have this really, really good connection and pool of professional contacts in the VC world and the angel world, which will really, really help you as you go fundraising, find investors. And a lot of you probably have gone through the fundraising a few times yourself, albeit maybe on the other side of the table as an investor, but having gone through that process is already a million times better than a founder who has absolutely no idea of investor relations. So it's already a much less daunting process for you. If you have this idea, you have this experience, and then you have this funding, then I really urge you to really consider making the leap now. Just not let these material traps get in your way. So I will now move on to the next part of my talk, which is assuming you want to build your own tech startup, then what is it like building a business from scratch? So simply put, it's kind of like building a sandcastle on the edge of the sea. It's really, really chaotic. 1 second, these are all true stories. We unveil our app to the world. We have this launch party. And then the next second, this reporter is like, oh, actually, there's a bug. I can't even log on. And then we realize that this problem affected 90% of our users. So, and as you guys may know, Apple, they take 7 days to approve your app. So it's kind of an awkward place to be when you have all these media around and no one can log onto your app. So there's always fires to put out. every single day. And you know, the thing with being a leader of a company is you have no one to tell you what to do, because you're the one who's supposed to be taking the initiative. And the thing with that is you always feel like you're not doing enough. So one of the biggest differences between you know, when I used to work in finance, you know, say for example, well, it is a Wednesday night tonight, I'll be like, oh my God, why is it not the weekend yet? Why is there still Thursday and Friday in the works? But now I'm like, oh my God, why is it Wednesday? What happened on Monday and Tuesday? Like, it's just, every day is so packed, you just feel like you don't have enough hours in the day. So, you know, for example, today we woke up at 9, woke up at 7 and then got to the office at 9. I'm not making the numbers up, I swear. You know, and then like 9 a.m. sorry, we start meeting with different people who want to talk about collaboration opportunity. 11 a.m. we have to be on the other side of the hall. We're meeting up with some restaurants to talk about some more like lager tasting things that we're doing. Grab a quick bite and then talk to our tech team, make sure we're launching an Android version and website version next month, and then making sure that everything is down packed. And you know, we're starting to do our fundraising phase, so we want to start working on the investor packet. Before you know, it's already time to come over the top. So, you know, that's a typical day for a startup. Well, actually, that's not true, because there is actually no typical day in the life of a startup. And if there's one unifying element, it's that there is just simply no downtime in your day. And if there is a downtime, then you're not doing enough, or you're doing something wrong. So, if I still have any of you right now with me, you know, you're like, okay, I have this idea, I have this, maybe this experience, and I can probably get the funding from someone. And you know, I love chaos, I embrace chaos. You know, I'm driven, I can put in the hours, and great. And like, you know, I really look forward to welcoming you to the startup community. And for all of those here that, you know, are still with me, I'd just like to leave you with a little thought exercise, which I found to be really, really helpful to guide me through these, the beginning sort of decision-making process as we started building this startup. And that's, would you rather have 10% of a $1 billion company, or would you rather have 100% of a $100 million company? This is a fundamental trade-off that the earlier you realize whether you want to be king of a castle or, you know, prince of a kingdom, the easier it is going to be for you to make strategic decisions along the way. And these early decisions are stuff like, do I find a co-founder? Co-founder costs money. Like if you're just looking for someone to talk to, then get a dog. You know, it's much cheaper. Do you want to incentivize your employees with options and equity? Do you want to bootstrap and live in a garage for a year, or do you want to go to PC straight away? You know, do you delegate a lot of these key responsibilities to your early employees, or do you want to keep all that decision-making process to yourself? And I raise this because I wish I had thought about this earlier. And you know, if you kind of understand what you kind of want, then it will definitely help shape a lot of these early decisions that you make as you start a company. And these decisions, trust me, will stick with you for the rest of your, not life, but the rest of the time that you do this business. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. And I'd just like to give a little shout out to my professor, Westerman. So he wrote this really, really great book called The Founder's Dilemma, and a lot of the things and a lot of the struggles that I went through was addressed by this book, and then I kind of, you know, thought a lot about this process while reading this book. So apart from downloading Feed Me Guru, which is available on the iOS store, and I promise it will change your life, at least your dining life, I also encourage everyone to get a copy of this book and read it, because it's really worth it if you're thinking of doing your own startup. That's all. Thank you.